I want to welcome everybody to the last meeting of the year, December 7th, 2021. Official time is 6:02. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If I could get approval of the agenda at this time.
So moved, Chairman.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Commissioner Kitchens, you want to lead, start us off tonight?
I sure will. Thank you, Chairman. Y'all with me? Join me in prayer and I pledge allegiance tonight. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for all the blessings you give us. We thank you for loving us and watching over us. We just ask that during this time that you give us to remember what this season is for, the birth of your Son, why he came down here on earth for us. Just please continue to bless us. Bless all those that are needing you right now, Lord. There's lots of people that don't have what a lot of people have at Christmas time. There's a lot of people that have sorrow and pain and hurt. Just wrap your arms around those, Lord. Be with them during these holidays and get them through it. So we just ask that you be with us tonight. Watch over this meeting. Guide our hearts and minds so that all the decisions we make be pleasing to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know. What we've got to untain our vehicle right
Thank you,
there.
Commissioner Kitchens. Tonight, before we get started, we got a special presentation. We put out a contest for a litter slogan contest, and this young lady, hands down, won the competition. We want to recognize Macy Jackson tonight for her entry for the litter slogan. You want to come forward? Slogan that was presented. Said it was across the board, clear winner. We want to give you this, and thank you very much. I know your daddy never done that.
Gosh, that's wrong.
Don't share that with your daddy. He'll have you buy him bullets or a gun or something with him. I know him. All right. We move on to planning and zoning. If anybody's here tonight that's in opposition to any of the requests that Mr. Protowski is going to present, you'll have an opportunity to speak. Mr. Protowski.
Chairman, item A is a request by the Jones County Board of Commissioners to create sections 32.67, 71.2, 24, 72.12, 75.52 for the CLDR. This is to institute the provisions for tiny homes. This would make them a conditional use in the Ag 1, the RR, and the RMH districts. The Planning Commission has recommended approval of these text changes.
All right. Anyone here tonight in opposition of the tiny home? Any questions from the board? None. I entertain a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
We got a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? None. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Chairman, item B is a request by the Jones County Board of Commissioners to create section 71.25 of the CLDR to allow sidings with metal siding on homes with metal siding. This would be for single-family dwellings. This would be as a conditional use in the agricultural district. The Planning Commission has recommended approval of this change.
Anyone here tonight against the metal siding? None?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Chairman, our final item is a request by Mark Buckland. This is a conditional use to allow a cemetery. Property is located on Whitaker Road and Joycliff Road. It consists of 56.21 acres. It's currently zoned R1. This change would not change the zoning of the property. It remains R1. It would be a conditional use to allow a cemetery. Planning Commission recommended approval with the stipulation that a 4-foot privacy fence and a 50-foot vegetative buffer be provided along residential sections of the property.
Mr. Buckland, are you here tonight? Would you like to say anything on your request?
The only thing I'd like to
If
add,
you'll just come forward so we can get you on the...
and it's on the application, is if I understand the conditional use, if granted, can expire in a year. And the goal is to acquire the existing cemetery that's located on Joycliff Road. That's Forest Lawn and Gardens of Macon. And then they would use what property's left in that, because Georgia allows 1,000 bodies to be buried per acre. So they'd fill up that, it'd be years before they even got to this track that we're talking about. So we would ask that it be open-ended, so it wouldn't expire.
Mr. Patowski, is that possible? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Yes, sir, we built a specific provision into the regulations. These kind of approvals have a sunset after 1 year, but the board can allow to remove that restriction. That is within the purview of this board, so that is a bit doable.
Okay.
But that was the only other item.
Okay. Any questions from Mr. Buckley?
I did have a few constituents call. Did you all receive any phone calls from any of the constituents in
We
that area?
didn't, we met with some the night of the zoning hearing.
Okay.
And, Mr. Robinson, did you get any calls from anybody?
No, I haven't. There were, I don't know, maybe 10 people here or so the night when we did the P&Z, the initial meeting. And from my understanding, I think all the questions were answered and their concerns were put to rest with the fencing and the shrubbery that they wanted, just to make sure that they would not walk out of their backyard and see a cemetery, basically.
Okay, excellent. Okay, that's what I needed to know.
And some of their concerns were alleviated when we talked to them after, when Mr. Robinson, who's a funeral director with Richard Robinson Funeral Homes, explained to him that it may be 30 years before we even access the property itself to start building graves or, well, I guess digging them instead of building them. But,
So it's just going to be a cemetery, correct?
yes.
And just extending down into it, we're not going to see an entrance from Whitaker Road?
No, if all goes to plan, and again, it's speculative. So right now, there's a letter of intent to purchase Forest Lawn and Garden, and the closing is contemplated for December 22nd. Is that right?
That is the
Tentative closing date.
Yeah.
Then no, the access would just be from Joycliff
Okay.
for now.
Great. And,
Any other questions? None? Let me see if is anybody here tonight opposed to this request?
I'm not opposed.
Well, come on forward and introduce yourself. We all know you, but it's formality.
I think Dalen might have just answered part of it. My concern, George Scoville, he did say it was gonna be entered from Joycliff only, it's not won't be an entrance off of Whitaker, is that
That's
correct?
the plan.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we don't want to be prohibited from not being able to access Whitaker if we can't purchase that
All
existing
right.
field.
And so really, basically, you're just making an extension of from top of the hill coming down that way, you're not coming into the backside. Okay, that's part of my concern.
Yeah.
That's our plan.
Anyone else here in opposition? None? Mr. Martin, this is your district.
Include the stipulations if we want them to leave those in place. The
The,
buffer and things.
right, so the buffer is in place based on what they asked for, correct? Or no? Which one?
Well, I would accept the recommendations with the stipulations of the planning board.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, so motion to approve with the stipulations recommended by the Planning and Zoning Board.
All right, you got one other thing, the open-ended part.
And remove the 1-year restriction.
We moved it 1 year to open-ended.
So, I'm only leery for that because I did hear from those few people. I understand what you're saying. If it was a pure only entrance from Joycliff Road, I'm okay, because Whitaker is a residential road. There is no commercial activity on that road, to my knowledge. I've never seen anything, so that would be my only hesitation to open-end it at this point.
And one other backup plan we had is, I think it's 3107 Joycliff Road, which is just, I'm horrible with cardinal directions, but I
Right.
think it's south of the Forest Lawn and Garden funeral home. There is talks about purchasing that piece of property and using that as the entrance, which would still be on Joycliff Road, not
Right.
Whitaker.
It's right on
We're
the
trying to
other side of the
avoid
cemetery.
I
an
don't
entrance
want to
from
go
Whitaker.
through Whitaker Road
Right, I
just
don't-
for aesthetics reasons. I don't want to go through Whitaker Road if I can help that. So
If you,
I don't think this is going to come up as an issue. I feel 95% confident unless something really goes really bad with this deal that we have with the current cemetery that's there, we would just be extending that one. There is another option of buying the property that Mr. Buckland's speaking of, which is the house next to it. It's roughly 5 acres, and that he has agreed to sell in the event this does not go the way that is planned. So I think that we should be able to have a entrance on Joycliff Road. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
So I'd propose the removal of the 1 year sunset if there was a guarantee we're not entering from Whitaker.
Okay.
We're not ready to commit to that, and I wouldn't make
Put
that.
that in your motion. will you?
Right, but I just,
Yeah. Well, that kind of,
Ultimately,
Put me on the spot.
The other option would be second as you proposed it and come
Right.
back next year
yeah.
and then open-end it from there. That way it gives you time to know if the deal's gonna go through December
So
20.
what would be happening exactly? here?
So you would get approval based on exactly what the Planning and Zoning Board recommended. The taking away the 1 year, the 1 year restriction would come after the 1 year. So at the end of 1 year, come back and get it open-ended.
And that would be before the zoning committee and then the board of commissioners again, to request a renewal.
same people.
Okay. You want to do that?
you want
And
to
that way
clarify
we'll
the
know.
motion.
And then
Listen,
we either give them a
so if
guarantee. that
y'all want
they'll
to continue to
enter.
discuss, we need to.
Uh,
Well, I did
I'll second
make-
for discussion.
Right.
Okay,
All right, we
thank
got a
you.
second for discussion, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's
Mr.
fine.
Robinson agreed that we won't enter from Whitaker. We're fine with that concession.
Yeah.
If we're, with the condition that we only enter from Joycliff, if it's open-ended.
All right,
You need me to clarify the motion?
so I move
Okay.
Got
to,
it.
All right, we got a
Second remains.
So,
Second.
but what was seconded, do you have a second for his original motion, or?
What he just said.
he seconded the original motion. So how about this? I rescind my previous motion.
Second.
Thank you.
I move to accept the recommendation of the board, the zoning planning board, with the stipulations that they recommended, and a remove the 1 year restriction on the sunset clause,
With the additional condition that Whitaker will not be used as an access.
with the additional condition that Whitaker will not be used as an
Man, you
access.
got to coach him through this
Thank
thing.
It's a lot of
You don't have to
extras.
coach me, Chairman. Second.
Any more discussion?
Question
Yeah.
about that. So, does that mean that, like, we can't, of course, have funerals go through there for burials? We would not go through that for Whitaker Road, but there is a driveway for Whitaker Road, because that's the actual address. Does that mean we can't, even as the company owners, we can't enter that property at all from that
I
road, or
don't
just
think
like public access?
Public access.
Public access, yeah,
Yeah.
and no
Commercial
funerals.
purposes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we had a motion second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
We
You were a
didn't
little
mean to
late
make
to
it
the
that
game there.
confusing for the last one.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Get it right.
Yeah. Thank you very
Thank
much.
y'all.
Welcome
Thank
to the
you.
neighborhood.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tim. All right, we move on. Consent agenda, approval for minutes. We had a work session on November 16th, 2021, along with the third Tuesday and the executive session also, November 16th, 2021. If the board's had opportunity to review the minutes and there's no changes, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, aye? Ayes have it, thank you. All right, Miss Debbie, you've got a library part-time position you want to talk to us about. Should we get the camera and take your picture?
Yes, I think we should.
I think we'll put it on front page.
Everybody hold your camera up
We
here and
we
take
need
pictures.
something to,
So I'm wearing
Yeah.
a different hat.
we
I was
need
gonna say, as
something.
long as
Can I
I've
borrow
been
my
here,
hat?
she hadn't come before the board.
I'm wearing a different hat. Have the honor of being the chairman of the,
And then she walks on.
Yeah.
chairman
Y'all
of
get her so we put this in the Jones County
the
News.
Jones County Library Board of Trustees. And so what we are doing is, like most people that come before you, we're wanting money. So, but first, I'm going to mesmerize you with the introduction of our new branch manager,
Hey.
Judy King.
All right.
And she's going to tell you some things about what's going on at the library, and so you can see why it's just vital that we can continue this on Saturdays. So
I understand she can sing too. My grandkid was talking
She
about it.
can sing.
Oh, I heard all about it.
That might help their decision.
Uh-oh.
Little do re
Rudolph the
mi.
Red-Nosed Reindeer, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh Holy Night, I mean, it is
Something.
Christmas.
Well, unfortunately, my voice is at the 2-week end of a mess, but I will do the best I can. So I'm Julie King. I have been the branch manager of the Jones County Library for 7 weeks, and I'm so excited. I can't even talk about how excited I am. For the last year, I was at the Middle Georgia Regional Library as the office manager for 16 libraries. So I really learned the system and learned all about the library, how things were run, and then when this position came open, I was thrilled because I wanted to be part of this community because I love Jones County. I live in Jones County. I've been here over 40 years, and so very excited to be here. The library serves over 2,000 people a month. We have a lot of people coming in, and that's even with COVID, which we don't have much of that going on anymore in Jones County. But I wanted to just tell you some of the initiatives that we're working on right now. One of the things we're doing, I'm working with Joy Carr and Family Connections and Amy Marlowe with the Jones County School Literacy Specialist for Growing Greyhounds. That's children's birth to 5 years. This is a huge initiative where we help parents get the resources they need, all that they need to do to help support their children in reading. Well, we've got 4 big events at the library next year. We've got them in February. We're going to do an outside movie. We're going to get the whole community involved. It's going to be Curious George. We're going to have just real excited. We really want to bring the library to the forefront because we feel like so many people don't even know we're there, don't know what's going on over there. So we've got that. We've got an Earth Day celebration, back to school in July, and a fall into literacy in October. Those are all just for growing greyhounds. And so then we also have Little Joe, which is the library bus that Amy Marlowe works with us. She's about to start that back up. And that's wonderful for our communities, people that just can't get into the library. So we're really excited. We support that. We give her a lot of books for that, working with her on that. We also have just started a big partnership with our special education department. We started with the Jones County High School. Last week I did a program for 80 kids at the Jones County High School. This is the unified program where you have the special needs kids and the regular kids. And we did an activity, talked about the library, got them a lot of information about it. So that was phenomenal. That class and some of the other special needs classes are now coming to the library at least once a month, some twice a month. And we actually have one of their kids volunteering twice a week. He's coming in on Monday and Wednesday from 12 to 2, and he's doing an amazing job pulling holds for us. And so I'm just thrilled that we've got them involved because we wanted to start pulling in groups that are not, or people that are not involved right now with the library. I contacted all the senior centers, assisted living, all of our senior facilities in Jones County, and a lot of them, they're not coming out and we can't get in, but we can help them. I've got audiobooks going to them. I've got large print books, helping them set up book clubs. So because I feel like our senior community is not getting a lot of the benefits from the library. Also, I've got a senior group that contacted me about starting a book club. So we're going to have that at the library, and I've just got to get the dates, probably the first of the year. Our summer reading program this summer is going to be Oceans, and I contacted the Jones County High School art department and asked her if they could make us papier-mâché ocean creatures for next summer, and if I could get them by May. Well, they brought them in last week. And I've got 5 boxes this big full of, you can't even imagine. I mean, sharks and turtles and birds and ships and everything you can imagine. So we've already got all of that for our summer reading. Crystal Burt, who is the English teacher at Jones County, just contacted me, and she talked to me about doing virtual story time. So her classes I actually took them a bunch of our books, and they've now got a virtual story time going where you can click on a URL code and pop in and watch the kids read the books. So they've got it at all the schools. We've got it up at the library. We've got it on our Facebook page. She called me today, and after 2 days, they had over 20 hits on every single one of the stories. I think she had 15 stories that they had done. Yeah, so amazing. So that was exciting. So exciting to just get in there and partner with all of these things that are going on. I talked to the director of the Boys and Girls Club, Michelle Adams, and I'm so excited about this because we talked today kind of trying to get all our dates together, but they're going to start coming once a week. That's around 40 kids, and I'm thrilled. I said, I can come to y'all and do programs, but if y'all come here, we have so much here. Y'all know if you've been to the library, and we have just activities, we have scavenger hunts, we have puppet shows, we have reading, we have just so many resources that we can give these kids, and so I'm extremely excited about that, and helping her also just stock books there, anything they might need for their everyday. We have some spots funds that we're going to be using. We're going to have a big outdoor area at the library. We have a big, almost like a small park, but it's going to have a huge interactive tactile wall that kids can come excuse me, not just our special needs kids, but all kids will enjoy it. Some good seating out there, some tables. We just, when the library is not open, we want to have something that they can do out there, or when we are open. And we also have outside Wi-Fi now, so anyone can show up. If you can't get Wi-Fi, sit in our parking lot and you've got Wi-Fi. So we've been trying to get that information out too, because people don't know that, and so they have that option. And then we have just our regular programming, which is just all the time, every day. We have, like I said, we have puppet shows, we have scavenger hunts, we have reading, we have, oh gosh, right now it's just a winter wonderland. We have so many things going on in there. Letters to Santa right now, and, you know, in the January, we're going to start a whole thing with hot chocolate and snow, and we're going to try to get a big snow globe in there. So, but we really, my heart for the library is to, and I have a lot of public relations background, is to really bring us forward so that everyone can see us. And our community is amazing, as y'all all know. They all pull together for everything. So I'm so excited to just start working with all the different community leaders. I went to the Pilot Club and talked to them, and just let them know that we're there. We want to be used. If people need meeting places, if they want to do book clubs, anything. Gosh, there's so many options that they can come do. So I'm excited. I can go, I've got more pages, but I know y'all have other things you have to do. So I'll stop there. But I'm just thrilled and excited. And but we do want to expand, and I'll let Debbie go into that to help us with all of these initiatives that we're doing. So
You post all of those activities on
everything is
on your
on
Facebook?
Mhm.
Okay.
Jones County Public Library on Facebook.
One quick question before we,
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the reason I'm here is because all these wonderful events are going on at our library, but there's some kids that are left out of the library being able to come. And these are the kids, like your own county administrator's kids, that are so involved in stuff during the week with sports and other things that there's no time for them to come to the library. So what we need to do is have Saturday hours. And Julie and I talked about this, and you know, we had asked for another full-time person, and that was turned down, and we understand the concerns about that. So what we did is we got together and we figured out exactly what we needed to do the Saturday hours, just what we needed. So everybody has their own sheet, and this is what it's going to take for us to have the part-time person. I got with Shannon, and we got the entry-level salary. It'll be 16 hours a week. That's $200.32 a week, and an annual rate of hopefully somewhere around, I'm not saying I figured this up, so it might not be to the penny, but around $10,416 for the annual cost. So we would ask you to please consider this and consider adding a part-time person at the library. We have support. Jason's on our board, and Ed's on our board, and we have the support of all of our other trustees. So we would ask your consideration on this. Thank you.
Mr. Martin, you want to say something?
oh, I did have a quick question before you go. Homeschool families, do you have any connections, any metrics on that?
Yes, and I can't believe I didn't mention that. Yes, we have a big homeschool group that's at the house right behind the library. They come over almost every single day. Wednesday's their day to come for like 2 hours, and we do a lot of stuff with them. And we really, our homeschool families are in all week long. That's the kids we see the most, because they are in every day, all day. We just have so many of them in. So yes, we have a huge homeschool group that comes in. Really, that's just almost like their schoolroom. And my heart is so on to that, because I homeschooled for 10 years, and I lived at this library while I was homeschooled. I mean, I lived there all the time. So it was our second home, and so it's just thrilling to see these families come in. So thank you for bringing that up, because I can't believe I left that off my list. But yes.
And the last one, in Bibb County, we use Canvas, and I don't know what Jones County uses, but it's just a platform where, we're basically archiving lessons and activities. If the books are virtually read, can they be stored there so kids can come back and access them later?
Well, we have 2 apps right now, Hoopla and Libby. And both of those are apps that you can go in, put your library card number in, and you have hundreds, thousands of books, movies, audiobooks. So that is something we let all of our families know about immediately. Then the Galileo is also another app, which is the school, but we all have open access to that. We have a lot of audiobooks. We have a lot of DVDs.
I
and
was
we
just
can
thinking of
get.
that cool aspect of someone reading a book. It's pretty neat, especially if someone local that's doing it. So.
Absolutely, and I actually love that. I love that thought, so I'll get my gears rolling on that, so, great.
Thank you. Motion to approve, Chairman.
Second.
3 seconds. Do I need to ask for an aye?
Ayes.
All in favor, aye? Aye.
And I'm
Thank y'all.
gonna say, if y'all have not been to the library lately, you know, the old days of going in the library and being really quiet and,
You don't have to do that no more?
no, every time I go in the library, I have fun in there.
I know, I need
I
some
go
of her energy.
often. Well, I haven't been in a few weeks because I've been busy.
Yeah,
But yes, y'all all need to go experience the library.
all right, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Hey, I'm sorry, I got to do this. With Trico going, I'm not exactly sure if they're going to allow this or if we had a local opportunity to do it. But I keep thinking of whether it was a cable channel or internet-based channel where we could have access to the library. That may be something Greg may be interested in doing as a partnership. So just something to think about. You're welcome. I'm done.
Great. All right, we're moving on. Appoint hearing officer, Mcbrody.
Yes, we actually need to appoint two positions under that agenda item. The first is our handbook, under certain circumstances, references a county hearing officer. It's a 2-year appointment. It does not need to be the county attorney, because if there is some sort of dispute or hearing that is to be held, I would represent the county. And so my suggestion to the board, and I have spoken with him, and he would be more than happy to do it. He's certainly familiar to you all and you all to him, and he served in this capacity in Macon Bibb as well as William Nolan. The hearing officer, it comes up under very rare and unique circumstances, so it's not something that's often required. Since I've taken over for Frank, we've not needed one. But we do need to have one appointed for circumstances where one is needed. And again, it's a 2-year appointment. You can appoint whoever you want, who is an attorney, but my position would be representing the county, not, I can't argue the case to myself, so we would need to appoint another
You'd
attorney.
win.
I'll win anyway.
I don't know.
I think she'd win either way. Commissioner Kitchen? You want to, I don't know. What y'all want to do?
Yeah, no one's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you get ready to
He
give
was
me a motion,
actually
but I don't
doing
know.
motion.
With
Yeah.
the laugh.
I make a motion that
I'm
we,
trying to coach a
I
motion.
make a motion that we appoint a hearing officer,
William Nolan.
William Nolan, for a
Second.
2-year
Second.
term.
Second. Any
Second.
discussion?
Aye.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm trying to coach a motion out of somebody.
I got it.
Shannon said we don't leave at 7 o'clock. She's gonna ring somebody's neck. She won't be slapping the county.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
There we
Whatever
go.
the question
I don't
is.
want her slapping the county. You want me to sign her up?
No. The next appointment would be to an associate judge for probate court. This is not creating a new position, and it is not creating any additional expense, payroll, burden on the county. All of this is under Code Section OCGA 15-9-2.1. It allows for the probate court judge of the county to appoint an associate to cover for him if he's not available. We have had Judge Lewis Patterson that's handled that for years. He's fantastic. He knows the court. He knows it. And he's served in this capacity for many years, but it's been under a different code section, one that allows the probate court to sort of request the assistance from another court. So in the capacity of his position with magistrate court. So it would not change any functions of the court, would not really alter in any way the way the court's run. Again, Judge Patterson covers a good number of the probate court days anyway, and handles a lot of what goes on over there, and not be any additional financial burden or anything of that capacity. Judge Green has appointed him, but it's subject under this code section to the approval of this board. And so it would be my recommendation that the board approve it. If you all have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer that.
And which judges this were?
It would be appointing Lewis Patterson as the associate probate court judge of Jones County.
Motion to approve
Second.
Judge Lewis Patterson as the associate judge of Jones County.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. All right.
You can sign it afterwards.
Okay. Well, we move on to our LMIG project list. Mr. Risner, you and John?
Yeah, I'll start off, and whatever difficult questions y'all have, John can answer those. So it's time to select the roads to submit to GDOT for our next round of LMIG. We've got until February 1st to submit the list, so you don't have to arrive at a final decision tonight. But I wanted to go ahead and start having that discussion. So if you look over on page 29 in your packet, you've got the list there that's been updated. So the roads that we've done this year have rolled off of that list, and so what's left there is kind of the priority list that we publicized on the website and that the board has adopted previously. So what I've, just as a suggestion or a conversation starter, I went down the list and you could do roads, you could do Morris Stevens, Overland Way, Walnut Ridge, have to skip over Dye Road, which is number 4, just due to the cost. And you could get Luke Smith, Whitehead, and Liberty Ridge with the money we have available this year. And then, if you wanted to go ahead and just kind of plan out for a year in advance, then you could come back next year and pick up Dye Road and then the remaining roads on the list. And so this list, between this year's LMIG round and next year's, would be completely taken care of. So I just thought I would kind of throw that out as a suggestion to y'all. And
If I can, Mayor Pro Tem called me today. Y'all had a LMIG discussion at y'all's meeting last night. Stone Gable Court, which is Park County, Park City. Y'all got some reclamation to do on that one, I think, also along with the paving. Is that correct, Mayor?
Stone Gables Court, yeah, we voted last night.
Okay. Well, part of it's in the city and part of it's in the county. It's not the whole Stone Gables, it's just the back area, that, I guess it's that back side. It's pretty rough shape.
Cul-de-sac.
But, Mayor Pro Tem asked us to consider finishing the whole court, because part of it is in the county. And I don't know what y'all's reclamation plans on it, because y'all already paved over it one time, it didn't last long, so it's got,
I think there's been several Band-Aids put on that particular part of the road. Not only the city, but GDOT's come back in trying to help us out. I don't know what the bottom line why, but like I say, we fix it, and for some reason, it just seems to, get messed up
yeah,
again.
there's no base there.
That's the one that's got a lot of cracks in it, right, Mayor? Yeah.
Is that the one that turns to the right, down there across from Ronnie's, where you going to?
Yeah, it goes from around there to the cul-de-sac. I think one Billy was on. Didn't your brother build that one?
Or you or what?
Didn't your brother build the back end of Stone Gable? When he's working for, I thought Billy was back there working on that one. Might have been.
I don't know if he was on that one or not.
Right, but I know that Stone Gable Court never was put in right, I promise you.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not something just reoccurred
But
recently.
they asked if we'd at least look at it, consider it, just instead of doing the little part of the city, go ahead and complete at least from that court, which is,
Well, I can say, Chairman, I had 2 people call me, that's been about 2 years ago, and ask us to come out and look at it, and it had cracks in the road. And it doesn't look bad when you're driving on it with a car, but if you get out and look at the road, there's a lot of cracks in that road that, are going left to right, not linear. So it's, yeah, I would agree I would hate to see it half resurfaced.
It's time to fix it and fix it right. Then we can move on to other roads. So we
Mayor Pro Tem asked for us to put that on, for our consideration on LMIG, to work with them on it.
So that'll be doing reclamation work and paving.
No, believe it or not, I think the worst part's on the city. Yeah, the worst part's on the city. It's just the fact that when you turn, just as soon as you turn on Ronnie and go in there, just as soon as you pretty much cross the city limit side, that's where you start getting all the soft areas. That's on the city there. But it's going, those areas going to, the only way you're going to ever get it towed up, reclaim it, go back.
Chairman, one question on these, on the roads. We got Luke Smith on here as a resurfacing partial. And that's partial resurfacing because only partial of it is paved. So if you look down here on our paving list, you got Luke Smith. So it appears, well, it don't appear, it's fact, that we paved half the road long enough ago that we got to rework that half of the road, and we still got half of it dirt. I've gotten calls several times of why we ever, and it was a money issue. Why you run halfway down the road and stop paving?
I thought it was that crossing, isn't it the crossing around that lake area that's so bad, John? When you run at the end of Luke Smith, that lake's never been, there's an issue in there, I think.
Yeah.
Right ahead of that lake.
A
So
lot of people wants it done down to Greenwood.
Which is another.
I want it done all the way
to.
to, I want it done all the way
You
to
want it all the way to
the other paved road.
RL.
Yeah, when you have 5 buses that try to come down that hill after about 5 days of rain, you understand why.
But I remember you telling us we needed Cheehaw and McKay done first.
Hall, McKay,
Yeah.
Howard Roberts,
And,
Luke
I'm-
Smith.
I guess that'd be another question when we get a chance to sit with the school board, just to see, if there's any, I know they can't tell us a whole lot, but if that's something we need to be getting on for Cheehaw and McKay for future growth.
Yeah, I think on those roads there that are in that sort of second block there, the right-of-way acquisition list, let's see if I can get to this so everybody can see that. I was just, I was, at least the people in the back, I was,
Like an action movie.
yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I'm getting close here. So I was just sharing with Commissioner Martin, I think for those roads there that are in that middle block, the right-of-way acquisition phase, honestly, I think what we're gonna have to do is either hire somebody in-house to work on that process, or contract with a firm to do that work. It's just really labor intensive. There's got to be some money allocated on the front end if a surveyor hasn't gone out and figured out where the center line is going to be and how much right of way you need, and so there's a money piece of it initially, but then really the labor intensive part is when you have to work with all of the landowners along those roads, and they all have special requests or want a second driveway, or can you pull it back 5 feet this way, and so I think that's what we're going to have to get to really make progress in terms of getting the dirt roads paved there. Otherwise, it just kind of drags out like a lot of these have, and eventually one works its way through the process. We've had a couple in the past 5 years or so, but in those cases, I think we had one landowner on the road that really kind of took it upon themselves to get a lot of that done. So we issued a RFP back, I guess, right about when COVID hit, for a firm to do right-of-way acquisition. And so they gave us like a per parcel price. We did get, half a dozen proposals back on that. So that's an option, or, having somebody in-house to work that. But I think that's what we're going to have to really make progress on the dirt road paving.
You think the RFP would still be good today?
We could ask them and see.
'Cause put it on our first meeting of next year, so we can at least talk about it, because we haven't paved the road in quite some time. Last thing I want to do is get the school board telling us we're getting to build a new school and we're not ready for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the main reason for asking the school board
Yeah.
what their thoughts were.
And Ashley, can you take a look and see if that part, considering what we have, could fall under professional services?
If what part?
The right-of-way acquisition.
Okay.
If we move on to LMIG, what's the board want to do on decision-wise?
Need to look at some of the roads, like I know Davis is not anywhere on this list, and it is, got some really bad spots. Overland Way, it's a heavily traveled road, but it's in pretty decent shape. It's not falling apart like other
Davis Road.
roads, such as, I'll bring up Stallings Road. It's in bad, bad shape. You got Smith's in bad shape. There's,
Well, he went out there and fixed some of those spots now.
on Smith.
No, on, Stallings.
That was in part of the past LMIG.
Yeah. And they supposed to do some on Davis.
Right, this, sort of like the Stone Gables Road, it's, the bottom's falling out of some of these roads, and I know they went on Smith, and it looks like they kind of dumped the asphalt with a dump truck and spread it with a backhoe, because it's,
We spread it with a Mcbrody.
okay. It's,
One says Sydney was fired.
Sydney was fired from the motor grader.
Putting down asphalt.
that's about as good as putting it on top
So
of
you didn't take credit for that one, then?
I wouldn't credit it either. I got complaints. So we have roads that need to be looked at. I know Overland is a heavily traveled road. It's near the schools, a lot of traffic. But if it's not falling out, we might want to reconsider shifting it on the list.
Mainly Overland is just when it rains, it's out in the car
It
track.
holds water bad in the ruts, and I'm just worried about somebody hydroplaning and wrecking, because that's a lot of traffic on that
Right.
road.
That's the only fault I can see on Overland is that's the only time you see it, when it rains. You wouldn't know it unless it rains to know that you've got, troughing going on with cars are running.
Are we having base issues on Overland? That's reason its bottom starting to fall out in places?
No, the base-wise, Overland's fine. It's just the troughing where the cars are running consistently. Can you see it?
Chairman, can we get, Jason, you love these spreadsheets. Can you put us another column in here with the pacer rating on them? I think that would help us. I know we're looking at them, but I know this list has been pretty much the same for a while, especially the dirt roads. And you're exactly right. I know, and I just used McKay, talking that for 20, 25 years, and some of the people that started working on it would get burnt out because they couldn't get anywhere, and then somebody else would pick it up. And I mean, after 20 years, a lot of the parcels have changed. They've divided parcels, they've sold parcels. So, anything we done then would have to be redone now anyway. So, but I constantly get, hey, when you first get in the office, first thing it says, I was number 2 on the list. Now I'm number 7 5 years later.
Yeah.
What's happening? But,
Yeah.
that one, I would agree, McKay and Cheehaw and Luke Smith have been a conversation piece for a long time.
And just out of curiosity, if the landowners of record gave, I'm going to use the word blanket permission because I don't understand it any differently, to have right-of-way access to do the roads, could you use that without having the survey done?
Because I had one on McKay A-Stone that I've already signed
Traditionally, what they would do is they would, they would deed over, a parcel of land, 0.09 acres or whatever the amount was, and you would have something showing exactly what they were deeding over to you. I don't know. I mean, that's a question for Ashley. I'd be nervous building the road on something we didn't own.
Well, again, if someone gave you permission legally and she'd be in charge of that document, making sure that it was right, what is the issue, or what would be the issue?
What if they sold that property?
Right, but if they gave
Then
you,
you've got you can't bind a parcel of real property though past your ownership. So they sell the house and then somebody says, well, that road, you don't have the right to have that roadway on my property.
People give easements and all sorts of things that,
Right, but those are recorded.
okay. Well, I'm just asking, is there a way to do that? Because if the right-of-way is the catch-up, or the hiccup, right, that we've been going on since 2011 for some of these properties, I'm just trying to find a solution to get people roads. I know in the past, it used to be horse trading, it worked out just fine, because the road came, right? And I know we don't necessarily want to horse trade, but at the end of the day, again, some of these roads have been on there longer than I've been a commissioner, so let's fix it, you know?
Yeah, Skinner Road's been on there since 1950s. I've been told that by many people. And that's right in the heart of Wendy's district.
Yeah.
And I mean, I drove a bus on it when they widened it one time, getting it ready to pave 2000 and.
Right.
So just a question, Jason, do they go through and get property deeded over from the landowners and then mark the center line of the road, or do we mark the center line and then say, hey, we know we need 10 foot and 20 foot?
Yeah, mark the center line first, and then that helps you know how much right of way you need from each property owner. And then that gets changed, you know, kind of as you work through the process. I mean, you know, as you kind of work with the different property owners, sometimes you have to get the surveyor to kind of redraw the right of way plat and that type of thing.
All right, so I got this question since I just asked him, and he didn't give me a good answer either. All right, so Shady Road Plaza, which is on the list there, you know, that's the county line for us. And so would it be up to all of our Jones County residents to give up their property and none of the Bibb County people to give up their property? Because if so, you're going to be on the front door of some of your constituents.
I think you would work with them on both sides of the road so that that doesn't happen. And then we would end up, I guess, essentially we would end up owning some property in Bibb County, which, you know.
They're not gonna be happy taking it off the tax rolls.
That's true, yeah.
But property owners will say that, hey, my property value will improve or increase because I have a road, right?
Yeah, because every road that touches Shady Road Plaza is paved.
Yep.
Every road that touches it, on both the Jones County side and Bibb County side, and then there's this dirt road.
Well, there's dirt down so far.
Yeah, and then it turns into pavement up at Woodall.
Paved.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the decisions we make 20 years from now like this. Whose idea
We
was
got
that?
continuous to the next meeting on this LMIG.
What's the deadline on it?
February 1st.
Oh, okay.
Move to postpone to the January meeting.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
All right. Mr. Risner, we got some surplus equipment.
Yes, sir, I'm gonna send around a list. I'll go ahead and start talking about this as that's going around. Basically, what you have here are 5 vehicles, 4 public works, 1 EMA, and then just some assorted things that building maintenance had back there in the shop that were just kind of taking up space and not being used. And then 4 pieces of IT equipment, printers, and 1 scanner that are now obsolete that we'd like to declare surplus and send to the auction.
None of the vehicles been used and it can be used. Never mind. I
I
ain't even asking that.
Looking about like all 300 on Monday.
Yeah, motion to approve all of them go to surplus, Chairman.
Got a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second, any discussion? None, all in favor, aye? Employee discount for rental, Mr. Risner?
So right now, and I think for some period of time, employees have been able to rent the pavilion at Liberty Park for half price. And somewhere way back, a board made a decision to allow that. And we recently had the question presented to us, does that apply to all facilities or just Liberty Park? And we've always kind of operated under the assumption that it was just Liberty Park. And so wanted to ask you, one, if you wanted to extend that to other rental facilities that we have, and two, if you do want to extend it to others, do you want to put a cap on the amount of times that an employee could rent within a given year, so that there's no potential for overuse there?
And it is for personal use only, right?
Yes.
So we're not talking about renting a ballpark so they can hold a tournament and make money off of it.
Correct. Yeah, and really, I don't even know that I would extend it to something like that. I think,
Facility.
yeah, just a facility rental.
Building.
Yeah. Really, you've got Liberty Park, the Knox Center,
Clubhouse.
yeah, Clubhouse.
We rent these little parks at the.
Haddock Park,
Yeah.
things like that, yep.
Out
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So I would limit it to those things and not extend it to.
So passive parks,
Mm-hmm.
passive parks and facilities.
Mm-hmm. If you're inclined to do that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I think it's not like it's gonna be a huge loss for us.
Yeah.
Revenue loss for us, but I think it promotes our buildings and gives us something for the employees. Commissioner Martin, you wanna say something?
You know, I'm just thinking, like, can they rent a gym?
We do allow, that thing we have back here.
yeah, rentals of,
They rent it out for like the consignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the gyms and passive parks. So I'm just making sure I'm clear.
But what I'm hearing is it's not to be for them to
Make
use to
profit.
make profit.
Personal use.
Yeah.
So if you wanna have a birthday party and you want 12-year-olds and you want them to play basketball, and you have a birthday party in there, I think that's exactly
But you
what we're
can't
trying
set
to
up like a
promote.
yard sale to sell stuff in there.
You just put it in whoever makes the motion, put it in the motion, personal use. Hint, hint.
I make a motion that we adopt the policy of, extending the policy for the employees discount to rent our facilities, but cannot rent it to make a profit off of it for personal use only.
We have a motion, we have a second. We got discussion coming up.
Second for discussion. So they can rent tennis courts, right?
I don't know that we rent the tennis courts out.
Because they're open play anyway.
That's open play.
It's open
Okay.
play.
But if
They're gonna be pickleball courts anyway.
Pickleball. Okay. But they cannot rent a field or a.
They can, but not for personal.
Not to like host
They
a
can-
tournament to make
Right,
money.
because we said passive, so I was wondering. Okay. All right. I'm
Any more
okay either
discussion?
way, I just wanted to know.
So they can rent it if they, full price, if they want to do it for a yard sale to make profit, they can pay full price.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Approved change order for the mountain bike design, track design.
So, can't remember when exactly we completed that, but not too terribly long ago, we finalized the plans for the mountain bike track at the Matty Wells Recreation Complex there, and we've got a need now to make some tweaks to that design, and so it'll be $1,300 to make those changes, and just wanted to come to the board and ask for your permission to have the chairman execute that change order, so that we can complete that and get that out to bid.
And we're
Motion
sure
to
the
approve.
designs need to be made, changes need to be made.
What's that?
I said, we're sure the design changes need to be
Yes.
made, there's no, okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Motion to approve.
Second.
second. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
For the record, is the administrator allowed to make, like, decisions up to about, isn't it about $10,000? Okay, making sure.
Just right, 99999.
9. Okay, so, for the future, so
Okay.
you know, yeah.
I Yeah,
And
just
that's
out of
why
an
I didn't-
abundance of caution and in
Amen.
the interest
Oh, yeah.
of self-preservation.
I'm okay with that, Jason. But I don't want you to hold up anything else for us.
Sheriff,
You might be
Sheriff
slow.
Office
Yeah.
Nichols. Keep it straight.
All right.
Good evening.
evening.
Captain Douglas at the Sheriff's Office. As y'all know, we've been before the board before, and we've talked about government state contracts, and I believe we got the approval if we saw something that we needed or wanted to get, that we could get that on the state contract without having to go out for bid. So what we're doing, and I know the department heads that order vehicles around here, I don't know if you know what's going on with the vehicles right now, but you can't get vehicles anywhere. You're either getting a vehicle you don't want, or you're ordering a car that they're not going to get for you. We normally do this process every year. I've been doing this. It's about my 6th year of ordering vehicles, and we normally do this in September when the new budget comes in. I've sent out for bid, and I know y'all have probably seen that, and I've been called back by dealers twice. We're canceling your order. We're not. Usually we get the cars, the V8 Dodge Chargers, and we had sent those out for bids, and we had got 2 specialty cars for the investigators because they carry a lot of things with them. But I recently, just 2 weeks ago, I talked with Jason, and Dodge called back and said, we're not making those, so we're going to cancel that order. We're making this model of car. We know this isn't what you want, but like it or leave it, So what we have found is that Aikens Dodge has the state contract for Dodge Durangos, which we had already asked for those for 2 specialty vehicles for the investigator cars anyway. And our plan now is we've had to change gears. We're having to get what we can get now. I don't know if y'all remember in 2020 we didn't get any cars. So I'm starting to feel that as over the fleet. What we have is we had to keep some cars that we didn't necessarily want to keep that we normally funnel down, like the ones you see out there, which kind of makes your maintenance costs come up because you didn't want to keep those cars, but those are cars we wasn't able to funnel down. So we don't want to get caught with that again and not be able to order cars for 2022. I've talked with the Chrysler reps. I've talked with the Dodge dealership reps. Dodge said, you better get it now because they're fixing to close out orders. They're making a smaller little Charger D6. The reviews are horrible on for law enforcement and with our county roads, as you talked about. But we found the state contract on Durangos, and we'd like to go forth with that. We would be asking for 5 of those.
What's the cost difference between a Durango and a Charger?
The difference of the cost, well, last year, I can tell you what it was last year. It's about $8,000 difference. That was last year. They won't give you the cost this year. It was alluded to the fact that you can't get the parts due to COVID and the manufacturing chips in China and wherever they're not making it for. They won't even give us a price for them this year. Whether they're saying they can't get chips or whether they're just trying to phase that out because they're not making any money on it and trying to upsell. But Chevrolet, I don't know if y'all heard this, but Chevrolet opened up their, they do Tahoes for law enforcement. They opened up their bidding process or their sales for 4 days without the dealers knowing. Sold 11,000 cars. They closed it quickly. A week later, they canceled half of those orders because they were trying to sell something. They didn't know they were going to be able to sell it. They sold it, couldn't get the parts, and they canceled all the orders. So pretty much Ford is closed out. Chevrolet is closed out. The only thing that's still open right now, and I understand it may be closing out in the next week or 2, is the Dodge. So
did you have to get less number of vehicles because
I'll be getting 1 less this year than I normally get. I normally get 6. As y'all notice, I got 7 last year because we didn't get any at all in 2020. And so we adjust and make some sacrifices, but I will be getting 5 this year. I'll get 1 less.
So, I'm a really big fan of electrification. And
Okay.
Tesla's got a bunch of Model 3s still available. I'm sharing that.
Right. And I've looked over that too. Jones County, we just don't have the infrastructure for that right now.
Let's build it.
We don't have, and what I would be curious about that is with not having the infrastructure for the electric vehicles to charge those with our fleets and things like that, those cars run, all the equipment that we have in the cars, the computers, that is a huge power load inside that car. And the electric vehicle, now I'm not an electric vehicle expert, but from my understanding, they're having a terrible time pulling the loads with those electric cars.
Most of what I've researched doesn't confirm that, but, you know, you do it for law enforcement, I do it for just ha-has.
Right.
And so the one-year model, you know, they're just the one-year comparison on that Dodge.
Right.
And the Tesla just kills it, according to their report, of course. My only recommendation is because I see your vehicle maintenance, and I've seen it for 9 years, and it's terrible on the Dodges. I can only imagine what it's going to look like on the Durangos. I'm a fan of not having to pay fuel costs on it.
Right.
And as far as infrastructure goes, he sits on a committee, we sit on committees that can build that out.
My problem would be, my concern would be, are we going to interrupt the services to the city, to the citizens while we're building, trying to get that infrastructure in?
No.
That would be my.
The short answer is no.
Okay.
Yeah, the infrastructure is not the problem, but he does bring a valid point, and we looked at some testing on that. So right now, when a sheriff's car pulls up, 99% of the time, they're gonna leave it running as long as they can, because all the
Correct.
equipment is powered up. If they shut it down, or if the batteries go down, all that equipment has to restart. So if you jump in it and you go for, a chase, all your stuff's gotta come back up, and all your computers gotta come back up, and you're not real-time information at all. And that is a huge drain on the batteries, that you don't have in a regular vehicle. They have different size batteries in the normal cars, gas-operated cars. So
We talked with WatchGuard camera system. They run the camera system. We talked with the Radar Corporation, which is Custom Signal, is who we use. Now, of course, computers have their own batteries. They'll go for a short period of time, but the cameras and a lot of the equipment that run in the car run off of the ignition. And if you do turn it off, all that stuff does power down.
Right, but just by a long-range battery. I mean, we can go from a 300-mile battery to a 500-mile battery.
Yeah.
We know that the average sheriff car is doing between 200 and 300 miles. So the long-range battery at 500 would more than cover that additional area.
Our concern would be the uncertainty of it, not knowing. We don't want to jeopardize anything with the citizens and interrupt that service. And we just feel that the infrastructure is not there. We'd just like to go ahead and go with these gasoline engines.
Fair enough.
Maybe something to, as technology improves.
Right.
Down the road. But right now, I think Sheriff has
At this
picked
point,
the best options.
I do think it's something we need to look at for fleet vehicles, because they're the less drawdown on the batteries. There's a big concern.
There's a tremendous amount of, and I don't know where they're going to go in the future with that stuff, but there's a tremendous amount of power being drawn from everything that's hooked into that car once you get it installed.
We just know that Dodge makes a product that requires a bunch of maintenance that the taxpayers pay for every year. So, I mean, it is what it is. If that's the model preference, or that's what's available, then so be it. But
He had to get me good, my Dodger.
trash.
We don't run our Dodgers down the road at 180.
Crown Vic, baby, Crown Vic.
You get vets and keep up with Commissioner Martin.
They can get the chips for them.
Got a
If,
check.
if he'd like to get us a couple of vets, we'd like to try those out maybe. So,
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second, any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Opposed?
thank you.
You're supposed to get a report later too for the sheriff's department, right?
Everything's peachy.
Huh?
Everything's peachy.
Everything's patient? All right. Mcbrody, we got the Gray Highway water line.
It was, I'm not sure why I don't think it needs to be on the agenda. We can just postpone it.
Motion to postpone.
Indefinitely. It's my understanding from our county engineer that it did not meet the county's requirements, and it really was going to be pointless to the county at what was being offered at 4-inch line.
No. Motion to postpone, definitely, Chairman.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I have it. John, you got anything tonight?
Nope.
Captain Douglas, you sure you don't have anything for the sheriff's department?
He said it's peachy.
Peachy? I know Sheriff said if I need any information, you'd have it for us. We appreciate what y'all do for the community. Just be safe out there. John, y'all got anything with Parks and Rec? Everything going good? Good deal. Mr. Mayor? City report?
Just quick, I appreciate your thinking about the stone gables thing, but answer to mine, I'm here as a library board trustee. support the statement, of course, Ms. King as well. And on behalf of the board, thank y'all very much.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Redmond?
Two quick things, Mr. Chairman. One, just wanted to let everybody know the refinancing of the jail loan and the recreation expansion loan closed today, so that's all done. Second thing, been talking to the regional commission and to the school superintendent about trying to organize a meeting at the regional commission to discuss redistricting. Wanted to see if Monday night at 6 would work for all or most of the board to get that started down at the regional commission.
Next Monday?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, you'll send an email out for that, and
Mhm.
the calendar with me right
Yeah. Yeah, sure will.
That it?
And that's all I have.
All right. Ms. Brody?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Ms. Flanagan? We're 6 after 7. We're working on it. Citizen comments. Anybody tonight? Come on, let's go.
Not signed in on behalf of the Black Committee. We've really appreciate and look forward to and want to thank, I told her, Miss Macy Jackson, that really was on fire for her. I wish you could give her $50 instead of 25, but anyway, Black Committee, we want to know, would like to know the signs, where you can get them out, get them printed, what's the future? I mean, when can we get them? How many are we going to print? Where are we going to put them and all that stuff?
We've already started the process for the signs. Now, where you're putting them, that's,
Right. Y'all already ordered those, that, yeah.
What type, are they going to be like the politicians type signs or that plastic type stuff?
yes, sir.
Okay. So how many?
I'd have to get with Tiffany. She was, her and Vicki Fielderback were in charge of ordering signs, stickers.
Because what our point is, we'd like to get them, pretty all over the county.
Sure. So once we get them, we'll give you a call. How's that?
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Thank
Thank y'all.
Anyone else?
I'm picking up litter.
You had to come up, no, I'm just messing with you, Steve. I had to pick at you.
I just wanted to remind everybody about the joint meeting Thursday night, December the 9th, with the legislative delegation members and some of our new ones being there.
Is it Butler Hall,
6
right?
o'clock, Butler Hall.
All right. Commissioner Martin, you want to start off commissioner comment?
It's been a good year, despite all the challenges that we've had. I'm thankful that we made it here, and all the hard work that everybody's put into getting us here, as far as employees, commissioners, and the community. I'm looking forward to 2022, so just a big thank you to everybody that made this year work. Looking forward to next year.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowman?
Just as a reflection, sitting back and thinking that it's been 1 year sitting in this seat and the things that we have accomplished as a board for not only my own district, but for Jones County. Just amazed. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things, y'all. And I hope we continue to do that and continue to work together. Because that's what we need to do, because it's for Jones County, not for one individual's agenda. So I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Mr. Wood?
I'll echo Wendy's comments. It has been a fast year.
Yes.
You blink and it's
Gone.
And I'm thankful for all our employees here in the county and all of our citizens. And I look forward to good things in the future, and I want to wish everybody a happy holiday and safe holiday season.
Mr. Kitchen?
Chairman, I would agree with what they both said. I've probably been on more boards than anybody here, and I can tell you without a doubt, this is a great board, and we got a great group, and we do a lot for the community, and I'm proud of the work we do and the decisions we make, even when we disagree. We look for the right decision. So thank y'all for that. Appreciate each and every one of you, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yep, Merry Christmas, absolutely. At this time, if we can adjourn to go to executive session for real estate.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Two of them, though.
No, that other one's just a copy. Hey, Shannon. You'll need this for your minutes. You just want to scan in a copy of Mike Green tomorrow.